My father, who died at 63 in 1998, told me that his own father said he could not stand the vultures of people waiting for the inheritance to come free so they could seize the accumulated wealth of the estate. This taught me a very important lesson, that families become jealous of each other, that family members want to lay their hands on the power that money can give, the convenience of not having to work, and the luxury and influence that wealth provides. People will treat you like a kind of god when you have money. They will look up to you. They will sacrifice to stay in your favor, treating you as if you are something more than just a human being, struggling with the same issues as everyone else. This taught me to stand on my own feet, to love my parents, but not treat them as if they know something I do not know, to think for myself rationally and logically, analyzing what people say, to see if it actually corresponds with reality. And by reality, I mean the obstacles that life sets before you in your effort to achieve your goals. Whether it is going out and needing money, building a house, or hosting friends and living an ordinary human life, the comparative nature of human beings is the great destroyer of relationships. Comparing ourselves by money and by wealth creates discontentment and an unfulfilled life. When you have money, you think people don't care about you. When you don't have money, you think money will buy you acceptance. You think it will give you love, but it cannot. You cannot hold a gun to someone's head and say, "Love me." Force creates resentment, not affection. Money, when used as power, empties life of meaning. It turns you into a manipulator, a regulator of other people's behavior. It causes you to withdraw, to gossip behind people's backs, to let vengeance enter your life, and to let greed become your master, before whom you bow down and pray for luck that will likely never come. Now this becomes just as miraculous as believing in astrology, because astrology, of course, is believing in a miracle that is not there. It is just a lie. These methods, just like soothsayers and spirit claimers, are all ways for people to make others give them money. Without working for it, you become a crook, a thief of hearts, a thief of things. You treat people like objects instead of human beings who need acceptance, love, and care. You tear hearts apart to climb upward and feel important, which you never truly achieve, because that is not how the human body works. We have equilibrium. The brain regulates itself. Your biorhythm determines your states. This is the story of empire abuse. Systems that rob people of their chance at a balanced life. They grind people down until they burn out, end up hopeless by the roadside, drinking to forget the pain they have endured. Life mishandles us because the system treats people like things, not like biological beings operating under natural laws, not man-made ideology. Your birth is not the start of history. You are born into history. You must understand what came before, so you do not lose yourself or misunderstand your own biology. You are born innocent and happy, and then slowly shaped into a disappointed person seeking redemption, then into someone who becomes bitter, grumpy, and slowly fades as aging takes over and the young move on to pursue their own lives, spending less time with you, because that is nature, and that is hard to accept. The time is right now for the populace of the world to hold the regulators of the system of power, whose task it is to write laws, to limit the power that individual families have over the rest of the families of a particular country, to let go of fear, to stand up to the bullies that hide behind anonymity, and sometimes even in the open. as the proprietors of the empires of money and to force them to subdue themselves to the political power that was put there as a barrier between the working class and the ruling class, which is the investors, and the manager class that regulate businesses. They should be putting in place the controls that are required by the working class as filters so that money can flow appropriately from those who parasitize the working class and make them bow down to those at the top as though they are gods. They should enforce the rules of proper taxation that are supposed to be part of a democratically controlled government, and they should share freely and graciously the winnings they receive from the input of the working class, and they should acknowledge that the working class are the real experts who help them achieve the vast amounts of money that concentrate toward investors, who will always invest, but who always want to take much more out of the system than what they put in. There should be regulations against sneaking money out of the country to hide it somewhere as a token of how rich they are, instead of investing it back into the people who made them rich. And since now we have fiat money, it is nothing but a symbolic gesture and does not represent real wealth. They use the symbolic value of that money to enforce a kind of miraculous faith in their worth, which is not real, but only in their minds, kept alive by the pomp and circumstance, and by all the events where they gather to blow their own horns and tell everyone how great they are, how much better they are than those poor souls who struggle to survive, people who must die on the side of the road at times, or fall into despair when they lose their jobs and cannot survive and must try to sell their bodies for all kinds of odd jobs and more perverse exploitations that the rich are privy to, because they themselves are untouchable, as they buy judges, they buy protections, they buy police departments, they buy influence wherever they go, because everyone looks up to them and bows down deeply to how godly and superior they appear to be to the rest of mankind. This is the story of a cognitive trickery that the rich have perfected and have now implemented in digital precision on the internet through filters of yes and no, which regulate our thinking, our beliefs, the data that comes to us, the stories we hear, and the gossip that spreads through the vineyard. And it is destroying that very vineyard, and it is heartless in its execution of the algorithmic one-way gate upward toward becoming rich. And it is time for the public to realize that there is no magic hand in the sky, no pie in the sky that you will receive before you die. If you just work hard enough, all of that is a lie. And they know it, but they push it hard, and the people began to believe it because they were relentless in their manipulations and in their work ploys designed to lead people down a dark road of self-denial and self-hatred, hatred that they then project onto other people.